What annoys me about a lot of things on this planet is the amount of people who will go about their day lying, manipulating, deceiving, gaslighting, and playing everybody as a fool in a situation that only benefits them. But when the smoke finally comes upon them and they have to deal with the fire that is growing more and more each day, they seemingly turn about face and they seem to always want to have a positive outlook on something. These types of manipulative people are all around us, and for some reason, the majority of them are politicians, and when they constantly gaslight you into believing something is racist or something is transphobic or something is against women or something affects all of a marginalized community or something is akin to fucking slavery, you have all these people who don't address things that are also important because they're so focused on dangling the carrot in front of the easiest rabbits that always want to chase it. Which brings me to this quote. What it feels like is happening in this moment in our democracy is people are losing respect for institutions of our democracy. The toxicity in our public discourse is a thing I think we should all be concerned about. We have to focus on what brings us together and not what tears us apart. And we've got to get back to respect for each other and respect for our community. And that's the thing I think that concerns me the most over the arc of the last 2 years. Now, hearing that, you would think I absolutely agree, because over the past 2 years, some could say even over the past 4, there's been this influx of divisiveness and not being allowed to share an opinion, not be allowed to discuss anything different from a group of other people. And if you do that, you'll be immediately labeled as something you're not, all because you didn't listen to a pack of people say that their feelings are the ultimate truth in every situation without really dealing with any facts or evidence regarding that situation. But the thing that bothers me the most is not the words, but the person who said it. Because the person who said it has been criticized numerous times over things that have happened in their city, and instead of having respect for the community and involving themselves and realizing that people will criticize them for the tactics that they put in place in regards to situations that happen in her city, she's constantly gone on record to belittle, demean, and make fun of others who criticize her, and pointing out that she's a woman and saying that she's under some form of scrutiny every single time. Of course, I'm talking about Beetlejuice herself, Lori Lightfoot.
About 99% of it.
Expand on that.
Well, I mean, look at my predecessors. Did people say that Rich Daley held tea sessions with people that he didn't disagree on? Rahm Emanuel was a polite guy who was a uniter? No. Women and people of color are always held to a different standard.
Well, my follow-up question is simply this. Many residents in Chicago feel that you've lost control of the city. Now it appears as though you've lost control of the Chicago City Council. Do you owe an apology to the victims of violent crime, the thousands of unsolved shootings and murders and stabbings and random stabbings in the downtown and the south side and the north side and the west side? Do you owe these people any apology?
So once again, sir, I ask you to get your facts right. Crime is not out of control in our city. In fact, crime is on the decline. All of our major indices showed a decline in crime, and our homicides and our shootings year over year are down. That's a fact, sir.
But even as CPD reports a decrease in the number of both shootings and homicides during the month of April as compared to last year, some anti-violence advocates worry about what they've been seeing on the streets just over the last couple of weeks.
That's almost summer numbers, but we're not in the summer yet, so what should we expect when summer really comes out and people really get a chance to go out?
Disappointed that they're not doing more to take safety and make it a priority. Still have retailers that won't institute plans like having security officers in their stores, making sure that they've got cameras that are actually operational. A great disappointment to me personally, the superintendent, and truly all involved. No excuses. We must do better. What feels like it's happening in this moment in our democracy is people are losing respect for the institutions of our democracy. Right. You've heard the superintendent talk over and over again about the number of officers in full uniform, in their squad cars, that are being shot at. That says to me that the people who are acting so brazenly have not only no respect for themselves, but they don't have respect for an institution like the police department, who men and women every single day on every watch are literally risking life and limb for our safety. The toxicity in our public discourse is a thing that I think we should all be concerned about, right? And it's ironic, obviously, that we're having this conversation and what happened on Independence Day. We're not like a lot of other countries where their version of Independence Day is marked with troops and tanks. And no, what we do in the United States is we come together as a community. We come together to celebrate who we are as little communities, neighborhoods all over our country. I grew up in a small town, and 4th of July was a big event for us because the community came together. And that, to me, is really the key. We have got to focus on what brings us together and not what tears us apart. And we've got to get back to respect for each other and respect for community. And that's the thing that I think that concerns me the most about what we're seeing really over the arc of these last 2 years. I get it. People are angry. They are frustrated and they're fearful. But we can't let those things mean that we lose sight of each other's humanity. We've got to find a common sense and a purpose. And I will also just pick up on some of the comments that were made earlier. I spoke at the Grant Park Music Festival the other night, and I was looking for comments from folks about the founding of our country, and there's an expression that really resonated with me. We will only be the land of the free when we remain the land of the brave.
Right.
And bravery takes many different forms, but for me, one of it is standing up for what we know is right, what we know will actually be uniting, what we know will actually solve the problems and address the urgency that we are feeling in so many communities across our country. You don't have to be a mayor, you don't have to be a congresswoman or an alderwoman. Every single person has a role to play in healing the wounds that are plaguing us in our country. And I just pray every single day that each of us will stand up and have that bravery of self and soul to do what is right in this moment, because we desperately need that kind of healing.
Yeah.
A Chicago neighborhood feels on edge this morning after multiple robberies and a shooting that has a man fighting for his life. Chicago police believe the same group is behind all these incidents. NBC5's Lisa Chavarria is live at Chicago Police headquarters. So, Lisa, how many robberies do police think this group is responsible for?
Patrick, police are telling us they believe as many as 8 robberies in less than a week. So Chicago police, they're trying to identify this group. That's who they're searching for. But meanwhile, residents are saying that they're frightened. They're very fearful. They're even scared to go out after dark.
After 6 o'clock, we don't go out. That's it. We lock the door. That's all. That's the only thing we can do.
It's terrible. I don't feel good at all. I mean, don't want to walk very late at night in the neighborhood, that's for sure.
Chicago police believe the group behind this robbery and shooting that happened on Webster and Wayne in Lincoln Park is behind several other brazen robberies. Police say the 23-year-old culinary student who was shot 3 times is still in critical but stable condition. This entire violent encounter was captured on security camera. Despite the amount of cameras in the neighborhood, police say they haven't been able to identify the robbers because oftentimes they're wearing masks. They're now asking for the public's help.
There are definitely people out there who know that these guys are going out there committing these acts, and even anonymously will take the information. Detectives can work backwards to get these guys off the street.
Until then, Superintendent David Brown says they will be flooding certain areas being impacted by this increase in crime in Lincoln Park and elsewhere with more police officers. He says that will also mean changes to schedules, including canceling some days off. Now, nearby Alderman Michelle Smith, she's planning on holding a meeting with residents, CPD, and other officials to talk about the residents' concerns in that area, because this is happening very close to so many people, and they are fearful of going out at night because of these robberies that have been happening over the past week or so.
Just hurting right now. And I want it to stop.
Words can't quite explain what Sharon Purnell and her family are going through. Her husband Larry was shot and killed Saturday in Chicago's West Pullman neighborhood while landscaping a customer's home for Mother's Day. Sharon already lost her son in a shooting 5 years ago. Now she's spending the holiday grieving the loss of her high school sweetheart.
He was a loving person. He was funny. I've been with him since I was 14 years old. When I was a teenager. Yeah. So I don't know nobody else. That's all I had.
Larry's brother Jared was there working with him on 116th and Low when police say someone got out of a car and started shooting.
Shielded by the house, so we thought. Next thing I know, he in my arms.
Larry was considered the rock of the family while providing for them through a landscaping job he did over the last 5 years. He was also just 2 weeks away from turning 65.
And I was going to plan a party for him, which he didn't know anything about. And now I got to plan a funeral.
As the family continues to mourn, they're pleading for an end to this gun violence plaguing Chicago.
Chicago's a great city, world renowned, internationally known. But the things that are taking place in Chicago is unacceptable.
I'm all for people changing their outlook on things and actually trying to bring everybody together. But the problem with Lori is that she has never once admitted that, hey, I said this when I really shouldn't have. Hey, I talked about this when I didn't have full information. Hey, I chastised this person criticizing me because I can't handle the fact that I'm being criticized in a city where there's issues happening almost every day and I'm seemingly nowhere to be found. I can go to some party or rally or concert and scream, fuck Clarence Thomas, but I'm not going to stand and actually try to do things that involve the community actually having an issue every single day of the week. A mass shooting involving a white guy shouldn't get you to start saying, oh, we got to start talking about the community and doing things to heal, and I feel as though the democracy is being threatened and no one cares about it anymore. No shit, because of people like you who have a lack of respect for the people. They're going to start disrespecting you. They're going to start not caring about you. Why? Because you've shown you don't care about them. So I'm glad you finally decided to get on stage, put on your suit, dress like an actual human, and decide to say, we got to start doing things. But the time for that has been gone and is already should have happened. And somebody else needs to start doing it. So I'll say what I said the last time I talked about Lori. I don't know when the election process is. I don't know when it's time to vote for a new mayor of Chicago, but y'all got to do something, because that woman is an embarrassment, a continuous embarrassment upon the city of Chicago, who has done nothing to really benefit and actually help when problems are needed. So find a new person. I don't care if they're a man, a woman, a white woman, black woman. Find somebody who is more qualified and who will not bitch and moan whenever they are criticized. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.